Hey everybody, Rob Booker here. This video is sponsored by IG US. IG is a leading Forex broker. Really appreciate them. We have some great videos coming up. IG gave me some sponsorship money and we're going to blow it all. And I can't wait to show you how we do that. Okay, let's look at the IG economic calendar for the week of February 17th. Let me just look here. We've got the zoo. I always think that's a great name for an economic report. I actually had a dream that I was in Germany last night. So that's a German economic conditions report. Germany's kind of in a recession. That's not really relevant. We don't care about that. Even if it says it's a high impact report, we don't really care about that. United Kingdom inflation, so the UK inflation on the 18th, Labor Department, housing starts, building permits, UK employment, no, that's Australian employment. That's a big one. Let's look at the Australian dollar in just a minute here. Then we've got French GDP, is that serious? No, we don't care about that. United Kingdom retail sales, United States jobless claims, that's lame, and then inflation and CPI. Really the big one is employment in Australia next week. So let's take a real good hard look at the Australian dollar, which happens to be actually maybe the most interesting currency right now. And I don't know if I'm allowed to on these videos. I mean, I can do whatever I want, of course. I might even take a trade on the Australian dollar while we do this. So we'll see. We'll see about that. So let's take a look at the Australian dollar, US dollar. It's kind of in this giant sideways market. There was some fear that the Australian dollar, US dollar was going to fall off a cliff and fall through the bottom here. And basically, the bottom was going to drop out of everything. And it really didn't happen. So what happened is it found some support here. And this is an interesting scenario now. It's a 1, 2, 3, a quadruple bottom. Now, usually when you get price action banging up against a level of support or resistance, eventually what that says is it's knocking on the door and it wants to break through. That's generally what it means, right? I wrote an entire book, Adventures of a Currency Trader, international bestseller, if I might add, for about 5 minutes. I wrote an entire book about how the beginning of my trading career, the beginning success that I had was in identifying places of double or triple bottoms and then buying the bounce at those levels. We could be bouncing on those levels right now. So I want you to keep in mind that we may be settling in here, and then this may be a launch pad for further movement upward. If we break above just a really short-term trend line, 67.20, I know that's hard to read, 67.20, if we can break and stay above that for a day, that puts levels like 68, 69, 70 cents, especially 70. This is a real great target if conditions start to improve. And I'm going to be honest with you, I like a buy trade with a stop below the lows here. I like that. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all traders, and I'm probably wrong, right? I'm probably wrong. Probably don't know what I'm talking about. So let's be real careful. Don't ever listen to anything I say. Let's just listen to the other side of the viewpoint. The other view here is that the Australian dollar is in big trouble, and that if it breaks below here, it did, a couple times it did exactly what it did down here. It broke lower, and then it almost broke a little bit slightly lower a second time. Almost slightly lower. You can see it's a higher low this time, and then it's back down to the same level. This time over here, we went low, and then we broke slightly lower the next time. What's happening here is the market's breaking down. Someone's taking a step into the unknown, that darkness down here. What's below here? We don't know what's below here. 66 cents is below here. 65 cents is probably below here. So it takes a step into the unknown. Does anybody follow? And when you see price then break a little bit lower, that means somebody followed along. That means somebody got coaxed into following that trade in. You know what happens when things drop in price and no one wants to buy them anymore? They drop in price further. So if there's a bunch of inventory at your local dollar store and no one's buying it, the dollar store might group them together and sell them for even less, for 50 cents a piece. That's what's happening to the Australian dollar right now. It's going on sale because no one wants to buy it. And you know that the big capitulation's in effect. If we break below, and that's what this number is down here, if we break below 66 and we stay below that level for a day, I think you've got to put 65, 64, and lower levels within your sights. Now, I'm a buyer right now. I like I like buying at demonstrated support. But I want to be aware of this trading dynamic that's going on here. Can we make a higher high? Can we make a higher low? Can we jump up off the bottom? If we can't, this trade is over. If we drop below 66.50, 66.40, I got to get out of that trade. And then I got to think about switching directions. What was it, John Maynard Keynes or John Oscar Mayer? I don't know what his name was. He said, when the facts change, his opinions change. What are you going to do? That's basically what he said. Some woman raised her hand and criticized him. I don't know the story. I'm just making that part up. But anyway, he said, when the facts change, my opinion changes. So if this drops instead, then my opinion has to change as well. And then I got to be able to ride that in the direction it's actually going. Thanks so much for joining me on these market update videos. I'm Rob Booker. Thanks to IG for sponsoring this video, Leading Forex Broker. You can find the link below to them. Click the link, check them out. Totally worth your time. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. If you loved the video, leave a like. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, that'd mean the world to me. So click the subscribe button and that little bell that alerts you when I put out a new video. We got some great stuff coming up for you in the really near future. A great video on first principles coming up very soon. Don't miss that one. I'm Rob Booker. I'll see you next time.